Perfect. All right. Good evening. My name is Travis. I'm with Oscar Mike Radio. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hubazoo Network. You can find out more on hubazoo.com. This is a follow-up to last night's live stream where I talked about not pastor but minister Sandra Garcon Degerville. And I'm pleased to say that out of her busy schedule, one, from getting back from South Africa and then instantly spooling up a relief mission to Haiti, has carved out time to talk with me tonight. Minister Sandra, welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's really great to one, meet you, and we talked about this, but we knew that you were going to be full out trying to get ready for this week and what's going on. And I got the chance to look at your resume and your which is not really the right word for ministry, but that's all I have in front of me right now. But you have a lifetime of service. So for the people out there watching this, can you kind of just tell us where that came from? Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay. Well, thank you. And again, good evening to all of your listeners. And thank you so much for taking this time and allowing me to come and share. And I know that's not your niche, but I thank you for creating an itself. My name is Sandra Garcon Degerville. And so I was born in Haiti, and I left Haiti when I was about 8 years old. So I've been here in the U.S. forever. And so I've visited a couple of times down to Haiti. And so I've always had a heart for my country, as most everyone does, and so here in the U.S., I am a social worker. I have a bachelor's degree from Florida Atlantic University, a master's degree in social work from Boston College, and I'm working to complete my doctorate in community education and counseling from Liberty University. So I should be done next year. So I'm grateful for that.
You have nothing going on. I mean, where do you find the time to do? You're in Africa. We're talking. You're in Africa, and then you call me from the airport. Oh my God, how have you found the time? That's amazing. I don't know how you found the time, but that's just amazing to understand your commitment to this. Where does that come from?
Well, time, we all have the same 24 hours of, that we work with. But I think our passions and it pushes us and drives us to create space for the things that are valuable and that are important. And service is one thing that is very valuable and important to me in my life. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a social worker, wanted to serve in this way because I believe that we are God's hands extended. So when we're looking at the different challenges around our world and we're praying, God, what are you doing about it? God's answer to me has always been, what are you doing about it? I've equipped you to be able to do. So if you're seeing an issue, because there's something in you that's saying that issue is incorrect based on what God has says. Now, what are the skill sets that I've given you that you can use to now solve this issue?
So you identified in yourself that God has told you literally to be the change.
We are all called to be the change. We are called to be the blessing, not to, we are the blessing. Okay. I am the solution for someone's problem, as someone has been a solution to my problem. And so that's the really the essence for me of a human being, that your life, at the end of the day, whose life did you impact it?
Does that really also fall in line with what the Bible says about bear ye one another's burdens? Is that what the Bible's talking about when it says that as well?
Absolutely. We're not blind. We have eyes and we can see the hurt of other people. And if we have the ability to help mend that, then that is an obligation for me. To me, that's an obligation. And that's whether you believe in God or not. Because none of us are blind, and we're touched by the hurt and the pain of other people. Many people that are part of this relief efforts that are going on, many of them are not Christians, but not being a Christian doesn't mean you're blind. You still have an obligation as a human being.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. As I read about you and your ministry and what you've done, Haiti did come to the forefront, and it just seems like that now more than ever, the earthquake has really impacted the country. What's your? I've called it Mission to Haiti because that to me is what it is. What does your mission to Haiti entail, and how are you, getting it set up?
Well, in terms of Haiti, it's a little bit more complex than this because my heart really is to return back to Haiti,
Okay.
and serve for, take a couple years and go back to Haiti and really serve the needs of the community around me. But initially, this earthquake, I was, like you were saying, I was in South Africa on missions. I had an opportunity to go up there and serve another need because there's needs all around us. And so I was privileged to go down to South Africa in Johannesburg and work with this community in Delmas, and they have no running water, no sewage. So we did a couple tiny houses. We created a school.
Oh wow.
We're working on a clinic, and working on getting them sewage and water, clean water down there as well, and provided some support and relief for the people. In that community. There's about 700 families in that community. So we're working, and there's teams throughout until October, I believe. There are teams that are coming every week to help and serve. So while I was there, unfortunately, Haiti was struck again by another earthquake, which we know from the 2010 earthquake, it was very devastating, and the country still has not fully recovered from even that earthquake. Um, and so now to be hit with a second one. And so my heart certainly goes out to Haiti. I have family in that particular area that has, suffered damage to their home. I'm grateful that everyone is alive. No one was hurt, but damage did occur. And that is a rebuilding work as well. And so for Haiti, my heart, so my husband actually was working with this organization down in Haiti, and this particular organization have been around for about 15 years. They are the Federation for National for Youth Development. And so they called my husband, asked him to come down and help. And so in the conversation with the director and also with my husband, we're planning on going down to Haiti. I was hoping to be able to go down sometime next week, but that will not be feasible.
Okay.
But in mid to end September, that's the plan for us to go down. So in the interim, we're gathering supplies. I did send a list to you, and you have that list of supplies that organization had asked us. So we are partnering with this particular organization, and they're working in the Okai. Well, you call it Lekai, but we call it Okai area and Jeremy area. Those areas that are hardest hit, and so we're working to get them some supplies down there.
Okay, so that's very important clarification because, and again, I understand the situation is changing, but I thought, oh my God, we got to get this spooled up for next week. We have some time now to really get supplies,
Yes.
and for anybody watching this, I do have the list. Sandra's correct. I have the list. I can forward you the list and tell you what to buy. Anything on the list can be sourced at Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Target, so on and so forth. And if you're in the South Shore area of Massachusetts, we can help you coordinate getting it to Sandra and her team and her husband. And there's also a way you can message me about making financial contributions as well. So again, my name is Travis with Oscar Mike Radio, and I'm pleased to have on Minister Sandra Garcon Degerville. Did I say that right?
Degerville, yes.
Oh, I try, Sandra. I really, I'm getting it. I don't speak French, so it's throwing me off. I apologize, but I'm thankful.
Don't worry, I lost a lot of my French too, so I got to gain some of that back.
I'm pleased that you're on here tonight, and I think this is a thing that I got out of just the last. And look, folks, this happened. Came together in the last couple of days, but the thing that I've gotten out of looking at what you've done is, you've taken action where you are now. You didn't wait for anybody. You started finding ways to, help your community, help, internationally, and then get people to understand what's going on, because just this type of ministry is not the only thing you do. You do some other things as well. Can you talk about those here for a second?
Well, I am a licensed social worker, and so I've done counseling, and I have a counseling practice, the Healing Institute, and I also I have a ministry, and my ministry really is about educating, especially the faith community around the importance of mental health. And so I do go to a lot of different churches and talk about the importance of mental health and help them integrate the need for that, because sometimes the faith community has pushed aside counseling and just, counseled, pray to God, read your Bible, and you're going to be okay. But the reality is, when you've gone through traumatic experiences and are experiencing other mental health issues, praying alone is not enough, because scripture tells us faith without works is dead. And so there's a part to do. So I do visit a lot of churches and educate. And I also have a Facebook Live that I do on Monday nights, where I talk about, life issues, integrate faith, and integrate concept of psychotherapy into that. And so out of that too, I do coaching. So I do individual coaching, business, and also ministerial coaching. Because the reality is, a lot of people need counseling services, but because of the stigma attached to counseling, many people are not going into counseling services. And sometimes too, in my work, I've been doing counseling for about 11 years. And in my work with a lot of people, I found that some people don't even meet the criteria to be diagnosed for a particular mental health issue, but they nonetheless need the services. They need to sit with someone. They need to process the things that they're going through and to come up with some solutions that they can implement in their lives. And so the coaching does that. So it is essentially counseling, but without all of the clinical pieces attached to it.
So are you talking like more of a human, I don't know if that's the right word, or more of a human side of counseling? Because, I've been in counseling for some things before, I'll tell you that. And yes, it's a very clinical, almost an antiseptic experience. They were trying to assess to see if they want to, give you drugs. A lot of my fellow veterans do not like counseling for that reason. They go to counseling, talk about their problems, and what they find is the counselor wants to recommend them to get on some kind of drug regimen, when all the person wants is just an ear, to be heard, and maybe some tough love. Tough love is a good thing, but I had a veteran tell me, I went to see a counselor, and 3 months later, I'm taking 2 pills, and I didn't want to take the pills. So is your approach to really get back to hearing somebody and approaching the healing through faith, if I understand you correctly?
Yes. So I do integrate faith in a lot of the work that I do, and I specialize in that. I guess you would say, for me, we don't all need medication, and so I'm not an advocate of medication. Not that I'm against it. There are some clients that I have worked with. There's few clients that, in fact, I've worked with, and I had to let them know, listen, we can't do any work until you're on some kind of medication, because that was the issue that they were struggling with, and their inability to really grasp the concept of what we were talking about, what we're dealing with, and they needed that support. So if you need that support, then you need that support. But everybody does not need that support, and so definitely working with a client for a while to see where they are and understand their bottom line before you even assess them for medication.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's just a very different approach than some of the experiences I've heard about from other professional counselors who serve, first responders, law enforcement, and military. So kind of shifting back to the mission at hand. Sorry, I just kind of want to go down that road because,
Sure.
A lot of what I read about you was around this, faith-based component to your work, your aspect of counseling in churches, which I thought was pretty interesting. And we can get into that to another time, but the mission is, with the organization you're partnering with, is to load up these supplies and take them down to Haiti. And then, as I understand it, your husband and possibly yourself, the situation's always updating, that's fine, is to really get the help boots on the ground to the people right there. Do I have that right?
Absolutely. So we are looking to towards mid to end September to get down there. There are a couple of people, especially when I was in South Africa, there were a couple of people who shared interest in wanting to go down physically down to Haiti. And so we're waiting, and they're still in Africa. So there's some, so we're waiting to kind of better coordinate with more people that have interest in going and to organize that. So, and also for me to get more insight of where they would be staying and lodging and that place to working with the organization. And so they've been out in the field a lot. So it's been challenging to kind of sit down and plan those with them because it's important if I'm going to have some people go down with me that I can ensure that they'll be in a safe lodging and things of that nature while they're
Yeah.
going to serve.
Yeah, I have to think there's a huge like project management business
Yes,
component to this. I mean, not you're going out there to provide care and uplift for people, but you have to take care of your people, make sure
absolutely.
they're safe, fed, water, the whole that's a gambit of logistical problems. I don't think people understand. What's that like?
It is a challenging piece because Haiti is not like a lot of some of the other like South Africa that I just came. It's a very developed country from what I saw.
Yeah,
It was different from definitely what I've seen in TV and also on the news to physically see it. So they have a lot of different spaces, places, and hotels and things of that nature. Whereas Haiti is already struggling with having a lot of those infrastructures and things in place. And also because of the earthquake that hit. And so a lot of properties have been damaged. So being able to allocate spaces that are safe, that are clean, that our people can go down to and feel comfortable to serve and not feel afraid, those things are challenging.
I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, there we go. So people can help financially and people can help in person. And when I say in person, they can go to the store and get items. You're accepting items. And as I told last night, they can contact you and you can either arrange a meeting or meet them somewhere to get the items, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And did I understand correctly that you guys are trying to charter a plane to go down there to one, take the people interested, and two, the equipment? Did I get that right?
So that was an idea that myself and your friend had a conversation about because as looking at the flights, they were pretty expensive.
Yeah, I saw that.
Unnecessarily. I would assume that in this kind of crisis, you know, the airlines would be more, I don't know, helpful
Okay.
in that sense. And
Well,
so, based on the amount of people that had shared some interest, you know, we were looking at what may be more cost effective. So I don't have a final number of all who's going to be going down with me. Once I get that final number and looking at the airline prices, plus in addition to they're having the flight ticket, then the cargo and the things that they're going to be carrying. So if chartering is more cost effective, then we'll look in that route. If it's not, then we'll work out what we have. I'm not a multi-man show. And so I'm just a woman who love my country. I see a need, and it's not just because it's in my country, but you know, my whole line of work in my life has been when you see a need, you're responsible. Period.
well, I'm pleased to tell you this. Some of the people on Oscar Mike Radio have reached out to me, and
Wonderful.
now that I have some time, I think I'm going to go out there and say this Saturday. We're going to try to get together with what we've got coming in so far and meet you up to drop off some supplies. Between now and when you go to Haiti, you're welcome to come back here and talk about the progress or certain aspects of the mission if you'd like. And for every show that I do between now and when you leave, this will be shouted out as Mission to Haiti.
Thank you.
So people can be in touch, and the call for supplies will go out there, and where I can, I'll help manage that. So that's my commitment to you. And some people were like, yeah, it's not military, but it's people trying to do something, and we want to get behind that. So you'll be hearing from me Friday or Saturday to make a drop off, and we're happy to do it.
Not a problem, not a problem. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your heart in this, and I appreciate all your listeners. And for those who have committed to helping in whatever way, whether it's through supplies or finances, um, it's challenging. I know there's a lot of boots on the ground right now in Haiti. A lot of people are helping, and that's usually how it works when an initial crisis come in. But to also think the long run,
Yeah.
there are once all of this, everybody kind of goes back into their respective places. um, Haiti and the people in Haiti and those affected by the earthquake will still need services. And so while there are a lot of supplies that are going down there, and we're praying that all of those supplies are going to get to the people, and that's why I made it my responsibility, if I'm going to collect from anyone, that I make sure that I know where those things are going to, because that is my reputation. As a social worker and as someone, as a Christian, to make sure that what we say are going to do, that we're going to do, that is actually done, and ensure that. So the organization that we're working with, my husband is very familiar with them, but they're a new organization to me. And so it's important for me to understand how they're going to function and operate, so that I can say, yep, you can definitely go down to them. They will take care of everything. But when I'm there, I can ensure what came with me is distributed correctly.
Well, Sandra, that's simply outstanding, and it's the kind of commitment that I kind of got from looking at what you've done, and I think it's something that my viewers and listeners want to hear. So as much as we can, we here at Oscar Mike Reed are going to support what you and your husband are doing, and as we say in Oscar Mike Reed, the mission truly is in flight. This is not an exaggeration this time. So I know you carved out some time for me. I know you're trying to get a lot done in a short amount of time. But again, the offers to come back on next Sunday if you want to, and kind of do an update. I've already got some hits in my inbox to, how can we help? So I think either next Saturday or Sunday, I'll be able to bring some stuff to you, and hopefully, we'll be able to do some good. Okay.
Not a problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you have a good evening. God bless.
You too. God bless you.
Bye.